YouTube back with another video. Eyes and Ears Tactical, man. Hey, if you want to help the channel out, man, buy a patch for me, man. Oops. Buy a patch. Support the channel. Buy a patch, support the channel. My email is in my channel description, and I'll shoot it right out to you, man. Help you out. Pretty nice patch, Velcro. Stick it on anything Velcro. Yeah, man. You saw the thumbnail, man. Homegrown terrorists, man. That's the topic right now. Homegrown. YouTube, I'm in a safe control environment. All the firearms you see are safety check, clear, no ammunition, no magazine. There's nothing in these firearms at all. Completely clear, man. Clear firearms. Yeah, man. Homegrown terrorists, man. This is getting wild, man. Hope everybody doing good. It's a lot going on right now. A lot going on. Homegrown terrorists, man. What can you say, man? So now we got more information coming out. I'm gonna get more and more information before. Definitely, I want to wait till after this Sugar Bowl is over, because this is gonna be a test right now for the FBI, NOPD, Homeland Security, everybody involved, because you got all these people down there about to pack that Superdome, probably about 80,000 people up in there, and not to mention people are gonna be out and about in the community, Riverwalk and parts of the French Quarter and all the other spots in New Orleans. I mean, New Orleans is a busy city, particularly this time of the year. So this is going to be a major test. You know, I'm right down here, so I've been watching the news pretty much for the last 18, 20 hours, and they swept the whole area out. Supposedly, FBI deemed it clear. Superdome, I heard University of Georgia football team, once that shit popped off at 3 in the morning, they pulled their team out of the whole New Orleans area. They moved them. They moved. I think they went up to Baton Rouge. They rebooked them, and they had to come back in town. So it's definitely serious. A lot of people are heightened alert. A lot of people lost their lives. 15 so people. But what I want to get at, man, rest in peace to everybody who lost their life in there and the people who got injured. Hope they all make it, man. But what I was going to get at, like this homegrown terrorism thing, man, we have to address this now. 3 categories of home terrorism that I've seen in my life is the school shooters, domestic, and you got the military people. Also, when I was young, it was a thing called going postal. Postal workers used to go into the job and shoot up all their employees and stuff, and things didn't go their way. So we have a lot of, I know we are concerned about ISIS and Al Qaeda and the jihad and all that stuff. We should be concerned with that, but the things that we should be concerned with China, and we should be concerned with Russia, but for some reason we want to be in bed with communist nations, and then we wonder why we're getting exploited by the Middle East countries, because the Middle East countries don't really get along with the Russian countries. So we already got ourselves in a conundrum right there, you know. So, and they don't like Israel. So we're in bed with 3 of the world's most hated enemies. Most people worldwide do not like Israel for whatever reason. I'm not saying that the people there deserve to get what they get, but I'm just saying Israel is hated for sure, and it's for a lot of reasons. Also, Russia is hated, and also China is hated. But they have all the muscle, but we're in bed with China, and we're in bed with Israel. Now, we're not necessarily per se in bed with Russia, but, you know, China's an ally of them. They're not an ally of us. So, but back to what I was saying, this homegrown domestic terrorism stuff, it's not new. It's just that now the media and internet, they can cover more of these stories, and plus the cell phone, people have cameras and they can tell their testimony, and then the media come jump in and run the story, because they can't hide it no more, because people have so many platforms to, you know, it's just like the Oscar Grant murder in Oakland, the Fruitvale Bar Station. That never would have been a big story if the girl wouldn't have caught the thing on camera on the BART train. So, clip I'm going to show you, I don't know if y'all heard about this dude in Virginia. They just found the largest stash of grenades and pipe bombs in FBI history. They busted this dude up in Virginia, and he's a homegrown American dude, just like the guy that just went and did the attack in the French Quarter. Homie was born in Beaumont, Texas. He served in the U.S. military 10, 11 years, had a real estate business. Now we find out a lot more details about him. He was going through a divorce, financial crisis, so to speak, had to sell a house, frustrated, all that kind of stuff. No excuse, but it just goes to show when people don't get their way and things start to go south, they'd have no problem taking it out on everybody else that has nothing to do with it, man. And but this Virginia dude, man, this dude, they said he had a plan to do some serious things, and So much so he been practicing making all these pipe bombs and all these IEDs and whatnot that he lost 3 fingers in the process of learning how to make this shit. And I guess they're getting a lot of this. They're starting to find out that these cats are going onto these little platforms like Discord and Stormfront and all this stuff. They all following all these anti-American hate group channels and stuff. I guess Discord, I don't know much about Discord. The Alert Zone mentioned it a couple times, but I guess Discord is a place where you can go learn how to do all kind of evil stuff. And, you know, so let me show you this clip real quick of this cat right here in Virginia real quick, man.
Bring in former chief of the FBI counter drone unit, Rob D'Amico, who's now a security consultant. Rob, good morning to you. I can only imagine what this mountain of weapons actually looked like if it was the largest the FBI's ever gotten their hands on. Just talk about the significance of that first.
Well, I think it goes to, like, they caught someone in the planning stage, thank God, because he actually has the means to start doing things. He has the weapons. He has the knowledge to start making these. Even though he lost 3 fingers, he's not that good, but he's gotten better. But I think he's really dangerous. I think you're combining some probably psychological mental health issues with the means to start doing something. And then I think it was just going to start rounding about to the point where he actually took action, and they got him before that. So hopefully the judge, even though he did release him with electronic monitoring, but he's now going back to consider the government saying he's a danger, and I think he is. He's a danger to his family, having explosives like that in his refrigerator alone.
Yeah, you know, with kids able to access it too. You know, you mentioned that he lost 3 fingers. It sounds like as he was trying to just build this cache of weapons. And most of it sounds like was pipe bombs. How easy are those to make, and how quickly can you make that amount of weapons?
I think he's been doing it over time, but there's lots of YouTube videos, and especially on some of these encrypted chats like Discord and stuff, telling people how to make them. They are kind of easy, but we do kind of monitor things when a lot of the material gets sold somewhere. There's things in place to alert. Luckily, the neighbor here caught on to it and was willing to do enough to get that search warrant to find this stuff. It's not hard to make. Sometimes it's hard to weaponize, but I think he was down that road. But the fact that he had a wearable vest and he had plans and he was training, he was wanting to take a sniper course. I think they caught a very dangerous person well before that he had the ability to act.
Yeah, it's just frightening what they might have stopped. The other part that Alina just brought up is he's reportedly linked to this far-right group or far-right ideology called No Lives Matter. Tell us more about that group, and was that a group that was ever on your radar at the FBI?
It wasn't on my radar. The later stages after I got off the hostage rescue team, I wasn't doing any of the tactical stuff against groups like this, because when you do look at doing something, you really have to do a lot of planning. But I think these groups have expounded quite a bit since 2016. Some of them feel there's all kinds of...
All right, you saw that, man. That's wild, man. That's absolutely wild. This man had all that stuff in his house around his kids, his wife, all that kind of stuff. And you saw all the stuff he had, man. And you saw the FBI guy. The judge let him out. And here's another problem we got, man. These damn judges, man, a lot of them need to be, and that's the problem with judges. See, once they get appointed judge, they don't have to leave until they want to retire. It's almost a lifetime appointment. Same as Supreme Court justice and all that stuff. I don't like lifetime appointments, man, because if you show a track record of negligent leadership, so to speak, you should be removed. But unfortunately, you can't really remove a judge until you actually have something that shows absolute corruption. Releasing someone that the public deems shouldn't be released, that ain't enough to get a judge off his bench. So this judge let this guy out, and then now look what we find. So thank God that he didn't get a chance to activate his plan. So it's wild, man. So we definitely have, not only do we have sleeper cells inside of this country, but we have American people that are born here. Like I've been saying, y'all got to give me credit. I've been saying this on the last few of my videos. Everybody wants to be in America, but nobody wants to be American. If you don't like it that much, why don't you just leave, man? Why Jabbar dude, why he just couldn't leave? You know, why this dude in Virginia, if you hate it so much, you build all them damn bombs, man, build you a suitcase and pack your shit and get the fuck up out of here. That's a lot easier, and you save a lot of lives, and then nobody's really going to blame you or hate on you or beg you to come back because you don't like the country. But that's what we up against. And that's where, if you are a law-abiding citizen and can legally own a firearm, you should be practicing your Second Amendment, man, and getting strapped up. Because, I mean, at some point, these groups are going to start coming door to door, taking shit they want, doing all kind of heinous crimes. But, man, let's get back to this guy, Jabbar. Now, he's homegrown, too. Beaumont, Texas, 82nd Airborne, Fort Bragg. We know a lot about him now. The dude that was involved with the cyber truck, this dude and him, they both served at Fort Bragg. Now, before somebody say, oh, yeah, he has connection. Well, not really, because if you know anything about the military, Fort Bragg is huge. 82nd Airborne is a huge division. So just to have two cats that's from the same division, that just might be coincidental. That can't be a direct line drawn to each person. Because if you know the military, like a lot of military guys will chime in and tell you 82nd Airborne Division is massive. So it's a chance you could have been in division with somebody and you never knew it. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, they both was in the same division. Now, the one other connection, it's a couple coincidences. So you got they both served in the 82nd Airborne Division before they out of there. They both rent the cars from Turo, which is not really a direct line, because I've rented a car from Turo before. I like Turo. I don't know if anybody know what Turo is. Turo is pretty cool because it's privately owned vehicles. It's kind of like Lyft. The only difference is you drive their car. You know what I'm saying? So they're registered into a system, and then they usually at airports. I never used Turo in the community. I've only used it when I was flying into places. So what they usually do, they're parked at airports, and then you go on the app, and then the person sends you a code so you can get out the gate with the car and all that kind of stuff. And then you put it back in the airport lot, all that, woo, woo, woo. It's all that. So yeah, so they both use Turo, and sound like the Tesla had a bunch of gasoline and bombs all up in it. And so they said this guy, Jabbar, he, thank God that the footage is very, very, very grim. And man, I ain't want to put it up, but I'm gonna show you a video real quick, clip of this guy, what he was up to.
Find the suspect as 42-year-old Shamshun Din Jabbar. According to state records, he had 2 misdemeanor charges in his past, one for theft and the other for driving with an invalid license. He's a U.S. citizen from Texas, and at this hour, authorities are still hunting for potential co-conspirators.
So I just want to put the faces of these people up. So you saw that. So the reason why I did those 2 videos, I want everybody to see the faces. You saw the guy in Virginia, and you saw the guy who did the massacre in the French Quarter. Now, without being too into your emotions, you got to admit both of them cats don't look really off. I mean, because we got a visual, and we all have a visual, we have a look that we think that, hey, that person's looking crazy. Look at him. We all have that, whatever that look is, we all have our own way of saying that guy looks nuts. Now, neither one of them guys would have raised a red flag to me, but this is par for the course for American-born terrorists and criminals. Because if you look at all the serial killers, B2K, Gacy, and Jeffrey Dahmer, those guys don't look really all that abnormal. What was the other one? I can't think of his name. But yeah, they none of those guys look really, really, really off the hook, off the chain, like, look very, very unstable. Like Charles Manson looked nuts. Like, you see what I'm saying? But these guys, some of these guys, they look like normal guys. If you seen this guy Jabbar, I went to his whole background. I saw a video of him, but he has a real estate business going. He's a real estate agent, and he did this soliloquy about why you should do business with him. And I'm like, I'm sold. Hey, when can we do work? I mean, dude was articulate, smart, not a bad looking dude, whatever. I ain't gay or nothing. Anybody want to get funny in the comments, but I'm just saying the dude don't look all like. Now, if you look at the guys who did 9/11, them motherfuckers look like terrorists, okay? And that's not because they're Muslim, it's just that they look nuts. But these guys, the Virginia guy, they don't look that nuts to me. Nope. And this guy didn't look nuts to me either. And even when you look at the DC sniper, Malvo and all them, and John Muhammad, he was ex-military too. Now, Malvo was just a little boy and he got exploited, so I give him somewhat of a pass. But Muhammad was former military too, and he didn't look nuts. So we got to pay attention. And then you look at all the school shooters. Most of them are all white kids from like rural, middle class, upper middle class, suburban areas. And they all look very irrelevant, so to speak, mean like don't really raise a. Now, I will say this, Klebo and Harris, them kids look, Columbine, they look nuts. They look like they was on the warpath. The transgender shooter in Nashville looked kind of nuts, a little off. But some of these school shooters, they don't look off. They just got hatred and evil in their heart. So I just wanted y'all to see the faces of them, because you gotta erase what you think is the bad guy or the bad girl and go by what is being presented to you. This is what they look like. And that's why it's so important for you to be armed in the general public at all times, because the person next to you that's opening the door for you, hey, have a nice day, lady, ma'am, sir, have a nice day, man. That motherfucker might be ready to light this whole place up. So you don't really know. And that's where you have to just go on the side of precaution of just being strapped and being ready, being on alert, having your head in a swivel, feeling the temperature of the room, and all these things, they all matter. You just can't be out there with your head in the sand like this, thinking that everything is going to be everything, or that famous quote unquote, I'm just minding my business. I'm just trying to go to the movie theater and woo, woo, woo. It doesn't really matter. You need to be paying attention and observing people and watching their behavior. Now, I will say this, the French Quarter shooter, I'm going to do another live as I'm waiting for more and more information to come out. So I don't want to, misstep and say something. But what I did notice on the report I saw this morning, they were going on. Now all the FBI went through all the camera footages. They asked people who had film on their phones to give it up to them, let them take a look at all that. But mainly the storefronts, because all the storefronts in the French Quarter, I tell you right now, they all got cameras all over the fucking place in the French Quarter. So they've been pulling up all the footages. Now, I was watching another report out of a YouTuber, Valuetainment. I don't know if y'all watch that channel, Valuetainment. Very good channel. They do factual-based media. Yeah, and they said that they ran a clip, and these guys are like, they way up there. They're elite when it comes to analyzing these cases and stuff on Valuetainment. And one thing they brought up, and I noticed it too, there's the one footage they show of the camera showing the white truck going down the road. Some of the French Quarter shooting, going down the road, and then goes around the police cruiser. Well, they thought that was odd that this particular footage was when the truck enters the frame, you'll watch it and you can see the camera following the truck the whole time. And they were wondering, like, well, how the hell they didn't say that, I'm saying that. How the hell did they know that this guy was going to do this? And why did this camera follow just this truck? Because if you watch the video of the truck going around the barricade, you can see cars on that one road going back and forth, but the camera doesn't follow any of those cars. It just picked up on the white truck and literally follows it all the way to the, through the barricade and so on and so forth. Very peculiar, because the guy said that the storefront cameras don't follow the people because I guess it's against our privacy or something like that, whatever. I don't know, some shit. But they basically, the cameras on those storefronts, all they doing is just shooting what comes across their face. That's it. What comes across. They don't actually pick up and follow vehicles and people and stuff like that. So they picked up all these cameras and stuff, and none of these cameras on those storefronts have that ability to actually follow the vehicles. So now they're trying to figure out where this particular video come from. I think they already know, and I think that person's already been detained, but they're not going to release that. So it's potentially that this may come out. That's why I want to tell you guys first. Let me break this news first. Breaking news, no, but I just want to let y'all hear it here first, possibly that the person behind that camera that followed the white truck before he entered around the barricade, that person may have been in on it too, and maybe they wanted to record it for whatever reason of whatever, to prove that he actually is doing it, that he really activated, he's in activation mode, he's actually doing it. Maybe that was the purpose of it, but they definitely they tuned in on that camera for that footage, because all the rest of the footage was raw footage, just like you will see people with their own phones, like, and the camera's jumping all around and screaming and running, and that's normal. But this video was very peculiar that it followed the white truck around the barricade, followed all the way down, and then you don't see that camera follow any other vehicles no more. Very peculiar. So, but yeah, I just want to tap in and mention what you guys think about this homegrown terrorism. Not to say that we don't have terrorists here, because we certainly do have them here. Like I said, they said there's tons, thousands and thousands of sleeper cells that's inside of our country already. We already know this, but the irony is the thing that makes it, I think there's several questions everybody have. The biggest one is like, why the French Quarter, first of all? Because, unfortunately, most people are going to be thinking, if a terrorist is going to hit something, why wouldn't you hit New York, Chicago, LA, some really, really, really big cities. I mean, New Orleans only has like about 40,000 people. Someone check me if I'm wrong, but it's not one of our biggest metropolitan cities in America. It just happened to be one of our jewels of America, one of our little golden cities. Like, it's like I said, if anybody don't believe me, do your own homework on New Orleans. It's one of our classic cities. It's worldwide known. It's internationally known. It's an international destination. It's just like San Francisco. It's one of our smaller populated metropolitan cities. However, if you say San Francisco, anywhere on the globe, everybody knows where you're talking about. If you say New Orleans, everybody on the globe knows what you're talking about. Everybody don't know where Atlanta is. Everybody don't know where Charlotte, North Carolina is. Everybody don't know what some of these cities are at. Everybody know where Vegas is at. Everybody know where San Francisco. Everybody know Los Angeles. Everybody know New York. Everybody know Chicago. Everybody know New Orleans. Everybody know Palm Beach. Everybody know Miami Beach. Everybody knows Boston, Massachusetts. These are not secrets to anybody worldwide. So it makes you wonder what made them pick New Orleans. Now, I find it interesting that there's 3 events that went down the same day, one in Vegas, one in the South. So you got the West Coast, you got Vegas, and then you got Virginia, okay? And not to mention some shit popped off in Oakland. Now, that was just domestic shootings and whatnot, which is not really abnormal, but still. But my point is that for a city of that small, dense population, and like I said, 300,000 is a lot of people, but when you rank that up against like Chicago, or you rank that up against Detroit, or you put that up against Los Angeles, or no, man, it doesn't rank big on largest metropolitan cities, but it ranks big on tourism, and it ranks big on people popularity and known to have fun. And that, to me, I think that's the biggest angle why they picked that area, because New Orleans has such a rich culture of fun and tradition and staying out late. Like I said, anybody know from New Orleans, man, they'll tell you 3 a.m. ain't late for New Year's Eve in the French Quarter. And definitely not New York City, and definitely not Los Angeles. So these domestic terrorists are amongst us too. We're fighting a 3-pronged system. We're fighting against international terrorists. We're fighting against domestic terrorism, and we're fighting against our paid officials, meaning law enforcement, U.S. military people that are corrupt and selling us out at the same time. That's about 4 or 5 entities that we're fighting against. And then you're not even mentioned to get into just street level crime, drug, turf wars, gang wars, and then you still got home invasions out there lingering. So now you know the home invaders are gonna piggyback off all this attention on all this. You better watch your doors and watch how you move, because them people are the low level street criminal guys. They are known to play off of a big international scene and try to sneak in and do something behind the door while ain't nobody paying attention no more, because they dropped their guard worrying about a terrorist attack. So I ain't gonna be too much longer. It's already gonna be a long video. I just want to drop in and show y'all the faces of these 2 guys, what they look like. Don't get caught up on race, religion, Muslim, all that shit. They ain't got nothing to do with it. It's just evil. E-V-I-L. That's all it is. Just straight evil. Now, the white cat in Virginia, clearly he's been touched, and then dude, Jabbar, clearly he got radicalized by a group or something and went onto some website with all his anger built in, his pent up frustration. And you got to, and this is another key point we have to remember. As much as I'll speak for myself, much as I love this country and I appreciate all the freedoms that it's gave to me and my family and my kids, we cannot ignore the elephant in the room, that the world seen how this country treated black people in this country and other people of color and ethnicity, how they wiped out the Native Americans, created platforms to their kids to elevate and get all the fruits and labors of this country. That still resonated with a lot of people around the world. Okay, so even though black Americans have never turned guns on white Americans in mass numbers and said, hey, let's go march the White House and light them all up for slavery and all that. No, we never done that. Matter of fact, one might say we shot more of our own people than we shot the people that actually oppressed us for many years. Because the early black people that were oppressed pre-civil rights, they weren't violent. They weren't violent people. They were mostly church-going people, hard-working people, just trying to get a piece of the Big Apple, a piece of American pie. And then our biggest leader, Martin Luther King, rest in peace, he was nonviolent. He was preaching nonviolence. And then by the time Malcolm X came around, he was like, fuck that shit by any means necessary. And you saw they took his ass out. But my point is, the reason why I brought that up, because people are people worldwide, no matter where they're at. And once people saw how our government really shits on people and how they treat people, they see how they treat our veterans. There's people come around here from other countries, they see the military veterans on wheelchairs all by the downtown areas, homeless, help me feed a homeless on this, that, the other. They see how they treat our people. So for them to come over here and manipulate one of our own that might be going through financial stress, marital stress, job stress, not getting promoted correctly, dealing with some entity that's like discriminating against them, because one thing about evil, they take all nationalities and colors. See, only a free world with a democracy and rules and structure will sit there and discriminate and say who they want to deal with and who they want to be friends with and who they want to allow to get a bank loan, who they want to get a small business loan, who they want to allow to get a CCW, who they want to allow to do all these things. We just saw Richard Brooks, rest in peace, get killed, murdered in an infirmary with 7 or 8, 9, 10 cops on video, and none of those officers, maybe someone checked me, they're not even in jail. Unless they are, someone tell me I'm wrong, but they should be thrown under the jail. So the world is watching this. They watched George Floyd. They saw the Rodney King beating. They seen all this stuff. So now, when they come over here with their agendas to try to manipulate somebody, grab somebody, no matter what they're in, army, military, whatever, law enforcement, border patrol, college professor, they have leverage because they can use our own country actions and behaviors to manipulate them mentally to say, no, blow all these motherfuckers up. Like, no, get your payback. This is your time now. And that's what I thought went down with that Muhammad dude. I think he was under some stress with all this other stuff. Not no excuse, but it's enough to where he can get mentally manipulated. Same with Klebo and Harris. They didn't get along at Columbine High. I know where Columbine High is. Big giant school. A lot of stud athletes come out of there. Known for a lot of rich kids going there. They were rich too, but they just didn't fit in. So they answered is to go ahead and take everybody out. So what we have to be careful, be conscious, and be cognizant of people may not be as happy as you are, and they tired of seeing you being happy because they've been demised or been beat down by the system, and then they might go do something like this. But the more important part is that the anti-American groups are just, they're looking for Americans that are disgruntled to bring over to the dark side. Man, let me know what you guys think about this, man. Do you guys believe in domestic terrorism? Do you believe that we have a lot of homegrown terrorists, that homegrown Americans that don't like our country and have no problem with seeing it go down? Man, that's a lot of firepower that guy came into French quarters with. Not to mention they were finding IEDs I don't know if y'all heard this report, they were finding IEDs, bombs by the patrol cars in the French Quarter that were parked on all the little block areas. So it makes me wonder, when he went flying down the street and crashed into that crane, was his objective to just go down the street to the end of the block and then blow up the car? Because they found an IED in the car and they found a long gun with a suppressor. So it makes me wonder if he was going to get out of the car, get to a higher ground, and then hit the button and then blow up all the cars that had bombs by him. And then he's going to get on top of a building and then start just sniping people. Because why would he have a suppressor if he's going to do all that kind of damage, before he gets to his destination? So I don't think that he was meant to I don't think his goal was to stop right where he stopped. I think he just crashed into that crane and then jumped out in defense of just like, oh, I got to go out with a bang now. Bang, 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 bang. And then the cops got him. So let me know what you guys think, man. I'll do another follow-up report on the French Quarter shooting, but I want to just address the domestic terrorists and the faces of it, and stop getting caught up on that Muslim this, all that, because that ain't got nothing to do with what's going on right now. These two big cases right here, the Virginia guy, all those bombs, white boy born in America, Muhammad, black dude born in Texas. That's the heartland of America. Texas, Virginia, are you kidding me? Dude, you can't get more American in those two states. And these cats were out of those two states, born in those states, and they sold our country out. And one of them had military background, 10 years. So anyway, hey man, arm up, strap up, protect your family, watch how you roll, and keep your eye on the prize, and don't get caught up on like, oh, he doesn't look like he can do anything. Anybody can do anything. Like, comment, subscribe, man. Everybody stay blessed. Peace.